Welcome to Crypto Knows, and this channel is for you to learn everything about cryptocurrencies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more every day. So let's get started on a basic concept on how the market is actually moving. And I will just show you very briefly how the market is moving in a very simple way. Now, this is learned from experience in trading. I did Forex trading, I did a lot of trading in my life, so I know what I'm talking about. And if you don't believe me, you can just go to the charts and look for yourself, because this is how the market is moving in general. This is the core of the market. Now I will give you a brief example. This, for example, is an impulse. This is what we call an impulsive move to the upside, and this is a flag. Now if we move up and we get a flag, what is the next move? The next move is supposed to go up. This is the core of the market. Okay, so of course this is the simplicity, but there's a lot of rules and a lot of indicators that tell us, okay, the market is not making a flag right now. We have to change our perspective, and this can be a dangerous point to enter the market. At the end of the day, you are dealing with probabilities. This is a probability game. So even if you follow all the rules, that doesn't mean that you will get the same outcome, because it's based on probabilities. But you're doing yourself a huge favor by giving yourself an edge. And this is the edge that I'm going to show you now. This is giving yourself an edge. Now, a lot of people, they draw trend lines. So what do when a trend line breaks? They buy. And then look what happens. Look what happens when you buy when a trend line breaks. Take a look. Here you can see the trend line breaks. How many people do you think has been caught on the wrong side of the market here? It breaks, a lot of people buy, and boom, it goes down. This is because they do not understand the core of the market. They buy and sell at very stupid points. And that's exactly why you maybe are losing money. How can you change that? How can you give yourself an edge? Now, there's a lot of things that we have to understand. What is the first point that people tend to buy? It's resistance and support, okay? So if you're not familiar with these terms, it's very simple. Resistance is kind of a line where people think that if it's breaking, it's gonna go up. So this is a resistance, for example, and we have another resistance, which is here. Now, as for support, is exactly the opposite. It's some kind of line where price has bounced previously, so people think that if this line breaks, price will go down. Which actually, if you see, the opposite always happens most of the time. But again, we're dealing with probabilities. Because, for example, here you can clearly see the line breaks, price goes up. Now, how many people do you think have sold here? And that's exactly why price moves up. Now, it doesn't mean that price will continue going up. And that is why I will show you how to read market structure so you can actually really make some good profits. And it doesn't mean that you have to start margin trading. You can also just buy or sell your coins at these specific points. Even if you're holding, you will make a huge profit over time. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now let's take a look. This is, for example, resistance, okay? Now we're actually talking about all-time highs. Now this was, for example, an all-time high. Here we have another all-time high. So what do people do at these points? It's very interesting, because you can just see the psychology on the charts. People buy here. Why? Because the all-time high is broken. So they think, okay, it's broken now, so it's going to continue up. But if you look very closely, look what the market is coming from. It was already going up for a very long time. And price has to breathe at one point. It has to go down at one point if it's going up for a long time. So this is exactly what majority of people do not understand. Here, for example, here's a lot of people buying, and that's why price actually goes here and then continues up. And then exactly the same thing happens. Price breaks all-time high, everyone gets alerted. Maybe you set an alert, maybe You were just waiting for this moment. Most of the people are. You can also see a small head and shoulders here, which a lot of people are fooled by because they cannot pick the right timing and the moment for the head and shoulders. And I can learn you where to pick these head and shoulders, for example, where it does work, where it does give you an edge over the market, over the others, over the majority of retail traders. So for example, if we go here, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is where people buy because of the trend line. Never buy off break of trend lines. It's a very big mistake, because if that would work, everyone would do that, right? It's very simple. So here you can clearly see that trend line is broken at this point, and then it goes down. You see, that's the probability that we're dealing with, because now price is going down because not a lot of people were actually selling. Because look, they were already selling when this trend line broke. You would have panicked here. Because, and even if you stayed in the trade, look at what happens here. It goes exactly here and then goes up again. Takes you out of the trade, for example. So it's a bit different when you're holding coins. When this happened, I was already on an alert state, because I know when we create different all-time highs and we go down, it means that price is about to go down. Now, I didn't profit from any of these trades because it's very difficult to get into a very good position with Bitcoin. That's why margin trading is very hard. But if you're holding coins, it's a very different point. You could have just sold any Bitcoins around these areas, which is already indicating, okay, we have to start selling. Okay. And you could like easily buy back now and you would already have profits. So that's how good holding coins is actually. Instead of, you can do margin trading definitely with this strategy, but you have to really be careful and you have to have good risk management. So let's go to Ethereum, for example, because I want to show you, for example, where to actually sell or buy coins. Now, this is the probability that I'm going to talk about right now. Here, for example, again, we had an all-time high, we broke, we went down again. So here I was alarming myself that we have to be careful, especially when price is moving like this on the third touch of the trend line. Now remember, trend lines are used as a guidance. They're not used to make decisions. They are just used to make a proper structure so we can understand what's happening. Okay, so here, for example, this is the probability game that I'm talking about. Most of the time when I see this structure in particular, 1, 2, 3, price going like this, I will definitely sell my coins. Now the opposite happened this time, and that's why, because we're dealing with probabilities. Now, I would not sell my coins at this stage because, of course, there's entry rules and there is a lot of stuff that you have to consider when you're trading. If I was margin trading, for example, I would have waited for a breakdown, a continuation pattern, and then I would sell on the break of this flag. Now, this didn't happen, so it kept me out of the market. So these are the rules that I have, that I will not take trades even if I see the structure. But it's different if I was holding any coins. If I was holding any Ethereum, let's say I was holding Ethereum from maybe 600 bucks, I would maybe sell a small percentage here, because I know that if I see this pattern, price can drop dramatically. And you can actually see what happened here on the second time we broke the all-time high. Price collapsed very fast. You can see 3-4 bars down. If you're doing this in the long term, you will be successful. You will not lose any money, and that's the most important thing, when you don't lose any money. So here, for example, we could have known that Ethereum was going a little bit higher than here, because this is a continuation flag. Now let's look at BNB, for example. At the moment, we are creating a very dangerous pattern. And I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm just saying what I'm seeing. So at the moment, we are seeing, let me draw it for you guys. This is what I'm seeing at the moment. Now this is a continuation pattern to go more down. Now why do I say that? Because remember, impulse, flag, what is the next move to be expected? Most of the times it's going down. That's just how the market moves. And you can go to the charts and check for yourself. This is how the market is moving most of the time. Look at this. This is where we broke out. Okay, this was the beginning. If you understood this term, you would understand this breakout and you would definitely have bought BNB here. And when is that? That's $125. You would have made a lot of money, especially when you're margin trading, because the market goes up, takes a breath, and continues. Now there is a difference with a flag going like this. For example, this is ascending. This is telling us that the market is going to go down. So if you look at this flag, it was the opposite. It was descending. And when you come from an upward move and you have a descending flag, it's very likely that price will go up. Listen, it's not 100% guaranteed. Nothing is 100% guaranteed because this is the market. If things would work 100% of the time, everyone would be rich because there is a system, and that would not make any sense. That's why it's probability. But in the long term, if you handle these methods, you can be very successful with holding coins or margin trading. I will give you another example. Here, for example, we came from an upward move. So if you didn't buy here, you would have another chance on the larger flag here. Here you can see it's happening on all time frames, by the way. Look at this. Again, descending. Okay, so there is a lot of people, they will just buy on the breakout of the trend line. In this case, they will have some money. They will make some money. But what if you had bought, for example, on this trend line? You see, trend lines are subjective. They do not help you. They're guidelines. If I have a pattern, if I'm following a pattern that is occurring most of the time, then I know what to do. For example, I'm not following trend lines, I'm following structure. And you can see that this is structure. We're playing out patterns and not just trend lines. Now here you can see, for example, we bounced up from this line, made a flag continuation pattern, and then continued upward. So instead of buying here, I would already have bought here, for example. That's just giving you another edge of the market. And now you can see we go up on another flag. Smaller flags, up and another flag, up. This is not a flag, this is just a pullback. Up and another flag. This is just a pullback. These are dangerous areas to go inside the trade, unless you have a double bottom. And then you bounce up and you create a flag, you enter on the break of that flag. You see, there is a system that you can follow which will allow you to have this edge which most of the traders do not have. Because what? They're just following resistance and support. Again, this is a resistance line, for example. Look what happens when we approach that line. Price breaks and goes down. Coming back, retouch, going down. Now there is a very big chance that we're going down from here, because this is a continuation flag coming from a downward move. So I am expecting price to go lower here. That is actually the simplicity of the market. You can use this with Forex, you can use this with crypto. Any market will have these movements. And some movements are a bit harder to predict than other movements. For example, this is still a flag, but you can see that it's very steep. So entering on this flag, you would do yourself a huge disfavor because it's very risky. But if I enter on the first flag of that move, look at all the profits. Look at all the profits. So that's the difference with retail traders and someone who has a plan and understands the simplicity of the market. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope you learned a bunch of stuff. I will definitely upload more content, but be sure to subscribe for more. Thank you very much.